Hello, my name is Jared and I am the Editor-in-Chief of Left Lion. We've been publishing our own magazine for over 20 years now, which is an entertainment and culture guide in Nottingham that exists both digitally and in print. However, a few years ago we also started to take an interest in some other publications from our city that came before the digital age. To date, we've digitally archived 3 publications. In their time, each of these was remembered fondly, but in recent years they only existed as boxes of paper in people's attics and garages. They all ceased printing before the dawn of digital, and before we started they had no internet footprint whatsoever. These publications were Overall, Nottingham-based music and culture magazine that ran from 1991 to 1998. Brian, a Nottingham Forest football supporters fanzine that ran over 50 issues between 1988 and 1996. And The Pie, a Notts County football supporters fanzine that ran over 87 issues from 1987 to 2009. All of these publications now exist on the internet too, and the purpose of this video is to show you how we did it in the hope that it might inspire some of you to do something similar. Step 1. Make sure you have permission. So to digitally republish a publication, you need permission from the copyright holder. The copyright holder is usually the publisher, founder, director or editor, and you can usually find their name and perhaps even their contact details in a credits section. A credits section is often somewhere within the first few pages of a publication. A lot of volunteer-led magazines are run in a way that the contributors, so writers, photographers and illustrators, all own the copyright on their individual submissions. However, all of these people will have at some point given their permission to the copyright holder to publish the work. Therefore, if you can find and reach an agreement with the right person, you usually only need their permission to begin. If you don't have that permission, please do not go any further. No matter how much you love a publication, if you don't have the permission from the creators to digitally archive it, then it's not yours to share with the world. Step 2. Staples. Staples quite literally hold many magazines, newspapers and fanzines together. However, it's up to you if you want to remove the staples or not before you begin the digital archive. If you do, you'll have to remove all of them really carefully to make sure you don't damage the publication, but doing so can have its benefits. There's an independent library based in Nottingham who we work with sometimes called Sparrow's Nest. They always remove the staples because when you store paper documents for a period of time, staples, which are usually made of metal, can corrode, rust and start to leave marks and damage the paper. Scanning with the staples in also makes it harder because of creasing. However, when we digitally archived The Pie, Brian and Overall, we made the decision to leave the staples in and work around them when scanning. We made this decision because the paper publications we used were not ours, and we wanted to return them back to the owners afterwards in the same condition that we were given them in. So if you remove the staples, the publications will never get rust in. It probably does lead to a slightly nicer scanning outcome. However, once you remove them, you're not going to get them back in. So have a think about what is best for you and your project. Step 3. Make sure you have the right scanner. You need a good scanner to do digital archiving well, and it's worth investing in the right kit to begin with, as it will increase the quality of your work and can potentially save you lots of time. Have a think about whether you might benefit from a feature called optical character recognition, also known as OCR. This means that when you scan typed documents in, the software realises there are words on the page, and these words can then be cut and pasted into other document formats like Microsoft Word or Google Docs. If you want to publish an article from your fanzine onto a blog or a website, then this feature can save you from having to type up the whole thing by hand. Automatic document feed, also known as ADF, can also be useful, but only if your pages are already separated individually. If they're not, then it won't really be of much help to you. It's also worth paying attention to what the optical resolution of the scanner is. This will be 2 numbers measuring the DPI, or dots per inch. The more dots involved in an image, the more detailed it is, and also the more colourful it can be. However, if you are archiving a publication from before the year 2000, then it's likely to have been created at 300 DPI or less, so a very high DPI might not add much. For our projects we used 2 scanners. Firstly, we used a Xerox Versalink C7020. This is a massive multifunction printer and scanner that we already had in the office for day-to-day use. Brand new, it's a few grand's worth of kit and a bit overkill if you only want to scan things in. When we scan pages into it, we had the option of either emailing them to ourselves or filing them all onto a USB stick that we plugged into it. We also used a Canon CanoScan flatbed scanner. This is a decent piece of kit that's widely available for £100 or less online. It's a really good starting point for a project like ours, and we bought it so that members of our team could do some of the work remotely when they needed to. Size-wise, it fits into a standard backpack. We plugged it into a computer, set it up to file the pages and scan them into folders on the desktop. Step 4, scanning. So once you're all set up, you can start scanning pages in. Do a few pages at a time and finesse your technique. You'll be able to work out for yourselves ways to shorten the process once you've done it for an hour or two. The scanners that we used outputted the pages all as individual PDFs, and we then opened those PDFs in photo editing software to crop them. Two programs we use regularly were Adobe Photoshop and Affinity Photo. At this stage, you really need to make sure all your pages are the same size, so decide what page dimensions you're going to go with early, as digital publications can look odd if they have different page sizes within the same publication. Standard sizes for publications are A6, A5, A4 and A3. Have a look at the document we've created to accompany this video for a full list of sizes. Once you've scanned, cropped and rotated all the pages of your publication, make sure they're all the right size and you're ready to join them all together. You might be able to do this in the imaging software you're using, but if not, we would recommend Adobe Acrobat Reader. This software is free and works well to stitch individual PDFs into a single publication. Step 5. Be tidy and name your files well. So once the PDFs are together, you want to come up with a naming convention for your PDF files. We always try and include some basic details in the file names, like the name of the publication, the issue number and the date of the publication. So for example, the file name of an issue of the Pie might be the Pie issue 77 April 2004.pdf. And when we upload that online, we might use a title tag like the Pie Fanzine issue 77 April 2004 Notts County FC. We added Notts County FC into the end as that's something that people who might be interested in that publication could search for, and thus it will boost our search engine optimization. Including all these details in the name of the file and in the title when you publish it means that it's easy for people to find what they want. Try and get your format right early on and be consistent. All of our files are backed up into Google Drive in case we ever need them internally. We have a company Google account, but you can also get a free Google Drive account with up to 15 gigabytes of space. If you save your files in an economical manner, that's a lot of free space to play with. Google Drive has also been useful internally to us to share our files with others. Step 6. Showcasing your publications. Depending upon your budget, there are various ways to showcase digital publications. At its most basic, you could just share a Google Drive folder link or put static PDFs online for people to view and download. If you're on a zero budget, this is fine and you can do it cheaply or free. However, we had a budget thanks to the National Lottery Heritage Fund, and so we were able to pay to use some page turning software. There are various types of this software about, and we would encourage you to look at the pros and cons of each package before you decide upon which to use. Industry leaders in this market include Flipbook, Issue, Publi and Relay2. The software that we decided to use was Issue. We originally chose this because they have a free entry-level tier that you can try out to get to grips with it. However, their free package is limited to just 5 publications in total. The tier after that features most things you might need and currently costs £15 per month. As well as using this software, we chose to commission an actual website to embed them into. You can view these websites online at overallmag.com, brianfanzine.com and piefanzine.com. You'll notice that all the websites share a similar look as they all share the same style sheets and with an Umbrico content management system behind them. Thanks for watching this video, and we hope that you find it useful for your own projects. If you have any questions, you can drop us a line on fanzines@leftline.co.uk or leave a message on this YouTube video and we'll do our best to respond.